Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we have a look at Utopia. Utopia is a deck that really hasn't changed much fundamentally ever since ultimately Utopia Ray came out, because every Utopia deck since then is just ultimately Turbo, and this deck is no different. In fact, this deck can even turbo out 3 copies of Utopia Ray in a single turn, because guess what? That guy does not have a hard once per turn on it. Utopia as a deck is the scariest it has ever been, being able to pump out 4 negates plus a rank 4 of your choice on turn 1, and sack your opponent's entire board with lava golems and field-wide negation using the free rank up magic from the skill if you happen to go second. The version you see in front of you only uses 1 of the new structure deck, but if you are watching this video when it came out, you are actually able to buy 2 of the new structure deck without spending any money, because you get 1 for free, and then you can get 1 with gems the normal way. In that case, just replace the reloads and magical mallets with any amount of Astrotopia or ZS monsters that you happen to own. Let's have a look at the cards. First off is 3 copies of Lava Golem, because this deck doesn't really actually need your normal summon, especially if you go second, so you can spend your normal summon on the Lava Golem to get rid of your opponent's board, and this is really important into the mirror match, because otherwise you can't really beat your opponent's setup, because this deck pumps out negates like nobody's business. For the Zexal weapons, we are playing 1 copy of Pegasus Twin Saber. We want this in our deck, but even if you draw it, you can just shuffle it back using your skill, so it's no big deal. This card, when it's equipped, gets you a 1 extra negate at the point of resolution, so you don't really need to change this on any monster effect. You can just let it resolve, and then when it resolves, you can click yes, and then it will negate the effect. And 1 copy of Zexal weapon Ashura Strike. This is just here as a searchable level 4 monster that we can normal summon. We barely use this card at all as an equip spell. We just want a free level 4 that we can just use as part of an Xyz material. Next are the starters. 1 copy of Zexal Sage Ascended Sage. This card can special summon itself if you control no monsters, and when you use it as a Xyz material for a Utopia monster, you get to search a rank of magic. Zexal Sage Arm Sage can special summon itself if you only control 1 other level 4 monster and no other monsters. And when you use it as an Xyz material, you get to search a Zexal weapon, so that is how you will go to search the level 4 Zexal weapon and normal summon it as part of an Xyz material. And finally, 1 copy of Astrotopia. This is a free special summon if you control an Xyz monster, and can send another card from your hand or field to the graveyard to add 1 of these spell traps from your deck to your hand. The card you'll be adding every time will be the copy of Numbers Protection, which looks really weird because of the green screen that I am using, but this card is basically an Omni-Negate if you control the Utopia Ray. Really, really strong, negates anything, and because it's a counter trap, your opponent can't really respond to it, so just a really broken card in general. It's just like back in the Salamangreat days when you were able to search an Omni-Negate. For the spells, we're playing 1 copy of Double or Nothing. It is a Garnet. You don't want to draw it, but again, it's fine if you do, because you can just shuffle it back with your skill. It doesn't really do anything other than just a search target for your deck to work, otherwise you can't use the effect of Utopia Double. 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. This is a searcher for your starter. 3 Cosmic Cyclone for back row removal. 1 copy of Rank Up Magic Limited Variance Force as the 1 main deck Rank Up Magic that we are playing. Searchable with the Ascended Sage, and can rank up any of your rank 4s into a copy of Utopia Ray. And then we also have some other consistency tools like Reload and Magical Mallet, because not only do you want to draw your starters, you also want to draw stuff like Lava Golem or Cosmic Cyclone if you go second, otherwise you can't really beat an established board. For the extra deck, we're playing 3 copies of Utopia, ultimately Utopia Ray. It is not hard once per turn. None of the effects are hard once per turn, so it is completely fine to play 3 copies. In fact, you can oftentimes summon all 3 copies if you need to. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, equip a ZW monster from your deck or extra deck to it as an equip spell, using that monster, and this effect activation and effect cannot be negated. Just a random line of text that just says even if your opponent has a Veiler, doesn't really do anything to stop this card. And also once per turn, while equipped with a ZW monster, can target an effect monster your opponent controls to negate its effects and halve its attack. So a really, really strong monster, gets really big, and is a monster gate. 2 copies of Zexal Weapon Leo Arms. This is an extra deck Zexal Weapon, so you don't have to spend main deck space, and just gives your guy a lot of attack. That's basically it. 1 copy of the normal Utopia. You don't really need this card, but you can make this pretty easily, and you can still do the thing where you boost its attack with Utopia double, and then use Utopia to negate its own attack, and then use double or nothing in its intended way to make your Utopia 10,000 attack and just beat over anything. Usually you don't really need to use this combo because Utopia Ray is already big enough, but it is something that you can do, and because there aren't really that many good rank 4s for the free-to-play version anyway, we might as well play it. 1 copy of Utopia Double. This is essential for our combo because as a quick effect, you can detach 1 material to add a double of nothing from your deck to your hand, and then special summon from your extra deck a Utopia Exceeds monster using this card as a material. So you will be using this to make a Utopia Ray, and or you can just make a normal Utopia if you really want to OTK. And also that monster gets a double its attack and cannot attack directly, but it doesn't really matter when your guy is so big and can just beat over anything and deal enough damage for lethal anyway. 1 copy of Rhapsody and Berserk. So this card is good going first against decks that have skills that put stuff in the graveyard at the beginning of the game. So Shadows is one that's very common in this meta, or stuff like Shiranui is also good to use this card. So if you go first, you can make this card, banish a couple of cards from your opponent's graveyard, and then use your rank up magic to make a Utopia Ray using this card. Because the rank up magic can use any rank 4 as a material, so this is one of them. Or you can also use this card, but this card is just generally good as a rank 4 that can be part of your end board. Anti-luminescent light can redirect any targeting effects to another card on the field that is an appropriate target, including your opponent's field. So you can just make them book their own, Book of Moon their own monster if you want. Even though you can make this card as part of your end board, like alongside your 4 negates, usually it's not really a good idea to do that because of 2 reasons. First of all, you want to save your skill, the second effect of your skill, for your next turn for follow-up, otherwise this deck just has 0 follow-up. And second, it plays around the Biru a bit better because the Biru is a pretty common card as a Utopia counter in this meta, and if you end your main phase while still having the skill active, still having like the second effect of the skill not being used, you can get hit by Nib and then still be able to end on 2 negates at minimum. So instead of ending with 1 more rank 4 in a game state that you're already pretty much winning, it's better to just leave the skill effect for follow-up or to play around in Nibiru a bit better. And speaking of the skill, we have a look at the skill. It basically has 2 effects. The first one allows you to shuffle a card from your hand to the deck, and then reveal a Zexal Sage or a Astrotopia from your hand, and then add 2 Zexal Sage or Astrotopia from your deck to your hand. So all you'll be doing is revealing any one of the Zexal Sages or Astrotopia, and then grabbing the other 2. So your opening hand will always be a Ascendant Sage, an Astrotopia, and an Armed Sage, and these 3 cards in your hand will be your entire combo. And the second effect allows you to, after transforming, you can shuffle a card from your hand or field to the deck, and then transform any card in your hand into rank up magic Numeron Force, and then play normal Utopia from outside your deck for free. And it plays it face up, which is really, really broken. And Numeron Force also has the effect to, other than ranking up your monster, can negate every single other face-up card on the field. So that is also really, really good going second. With that said, let's have a look at the expensive version first. So the expensive version doesn't really look too much different from the free-to-play version. This is pretty much the optimal way to play the deck, playing like lava golems and cyclones and the maximum amount of starters. So yeah, the difference is that we're not playing mallets because those cards are bad. Those cards are only good in the free-to-play version to help you draw into engine. In the expensive version, we're playing 2 copies of Ascended Sage, free Astrotopia, and free Armed Sage. And also we're playing a copy of Eagle Claw, which is another Zexal weapon that you can use, and this is good against decks like Shaddolls, which have really strong traps that you want to prevent them from activating. For the extra deck, pretty much looks the same. We're playing one less Leo Arms because we're playing the Eagle Claw, and we're playing Abyss Dweller because this card is really good against decks like, well, Shaddolls, like, you know, the best meta deck in the game right now. We're also playing one Exciton Knight, which is pretty good going second to just blow up the entire board. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's have a look at the replays. Okay, game 1, we were playing against Ancient Gear, and we are going second. This deck is really fine going first or second because of the amount of tools that it has. Well, our opponent will start with using the skill and just setting up their combo. And the thing about this deck is that it doesn't really care about Kite Roar that much or any of the stall cards that the Ancient Gears usually search, like the train, the Limit 2 train that they can also play theoretically. That also doesn't really do too much against this deck. And if we're playing the expensive version, we can just make Dweller and run over the Howitzer if they make the Howitzer. But our opponent will not make it for some reason, and that's completely fine for us. And they grab the, yeah, this is the train that I'm talking about, Signal Red, which is a battle trap that can activate from hand to redirect attacks to it, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. But it doesn't really matter too much. We can now use Reinforcement of the Army to just grab another card before we use the skill. And then we're just gonna search a couple of cards before using Magical Mallet to try to find something like a Lava Golem. And we do find it, so we can just tribute over our opposing monster and make it in attack position. And, well, you probably know what's coming. We're gonna make Utopia double and search a few cards. We don't even need the Astrotopia, so that's why we shuffled it back with the Mallet. And we're gonna make not Utopia Ray, but we're gonna make the normal Utopia, because guess what? That is game on its own. You do the good old Utopia OTK, using Utopia to negate its own attack, and then use double or nothing to make it attack again with 10,000 attack, and that is game. That's game. That's game. Plays through Kite Roar, plays through the train, and we win. Okay, so aside from that silly OTK, let's have a look at what this deck is really good at, like the reason why this deck is so strong. Our opponent is playing Shaddolls, you know, the tier 1 meta deck in this game, and we don't even have Abyss Dweller, but that's completely fine in this free-to-play version. As you can see, we did open with combo, so that's pretty much it. We also opened with like the counter trap that we didn't even need to have in our hand, but I guess I won't really complain. We're gonna make Utopia double and then search the level 4 Zexal weapon plus rank up magic. You're gonna use the Utopia double to make a copy of the Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray, and then use the effect to equip the Pegasus Twin Saber, and that's 2 negates already on our field. We're gonna use Astrotopia, and we can use the Astrotopia to search the Numbers Protection if we didn't have it, but we already have it, so we don't even need to use the effect. I could have made Rhapsody and Berserk to banish 2 traps, but I didn't have it in the extra deck at the time that I was recording this, so we're just gonna make the Anti-Luminescent Light instead, and we're just gonna set a trap and end turn. So that's 4 negates, 3 Monster negates, and 1 Omni negate. So we're gonna save the Omni negate for the Fusion spell because if we stop the Fusion spell, Shaddolls can't really do too much. They're gonna try to use the Hell Shaddol, and we're gonna negate with Pegasus Twin Saber. And the reason why we want to use the Pegasus the Twin Saber to negate and not the Utopia Ray is because they can actually chain the Resh Shaddol incarnation to flip their own monster face down, and that will prevent us from negating the effect using a targeting effect. So if we use Utopia Ray to target it, they can flip themselves face down and the effect will still resolve. So instead we're going to use the Twin Saber, and that cannot be blocked by any sort of effect that flipped themselves face down. They're going to try to force out the Army Negate, we can negate with Utopia Ray. They're going to try to chain the fusion, we can negate the fusion. And that's pretty much all they can do, and I guess they're just gonna scoop. Okay, our final game, we're playing against dinosaurs, and well, we're going first, so you know what's coming. It's the exact same thing. It's literally the exact same combo in the free-to-play or expensive version. The deck looks 90% the same, and well, we're gonna have to sit through this again. And, well, it's just the exact same combo. We're gonna summon 2 level 4s, make Utopia double, search a card, search another card, and then, grab the double or nothing using the Utopia double, and then make a copy of Utopia Ray. And we could modify the combo a bit to also end on the 3rd Xyz by using the skill to make Utopia. But again, as I said in the intro, I want to save the 2nd effect of the skill for follow-up or to play around the Beaver. So instead, we're just gonna make 2 Xyz monsters and end on that. So we're gonna make a 2nd Utopia Ray. 2nd Utopia Ray, equip the Eagle Claw this time, and then set Counter Trap and pass. We don't even have space for the Cosmic Cyclone to set, so that's all we could do. Our opponent will try to droplet our monster, but it's really not that big of a deal because, I mean, Twin Saber is like an equipped spell, so we can still negate. And then, well, not too much anyone can do against a board as strong as this one, so I guess they're going to scoop.